Jimmy Elam, welcome to Conversational Pace. Congratulations on your massive victory at the first inaugural Mammoth 200. How are you doing today?
Yeah, man, it's a great day here in Midway. Sunny, warm. It's so nice to be home. But yeah, I was out in Mammoth for a week, and a couple of those days running the big loop. Tim and Hillary's big loop. It was awesome. Body's feeling pretty beat up, honestly. Like legs, like when you finish 100 and then for like a day or two you have that just like deep fatigue in your legs. I still have it. It's still around and like just been elevating and like trying to hydrate and just be lazy. But I have so much to do around the house. It's been hard.
How many days has it been since you finished?
So I finished, let's see, the race started Friday morning and then I did all day Saturday, finished early Sunday. So yeah, so I've had all day Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like I guess 4 days. Yeah.
I think you got to cut yourself a little slack. It's been like 3 days.
Don't worry, I'm not going to get back into training anytime soon. I'm really excited to hibernate, like my typical self.
Yeah. Was this the end of the season, big end of the season goal for you?
Yeah, yeah. I don't like race a ton, so when I do race, I want to make it hit hard, and want to do really well. And yeah, both races this year went great. Can't complain. I'm not sure if I want to do another 200 anytime soon. Definitely not in the next few years, I don't think. Which might kill some of the audience or some of the fanatics out there. But I just think hundreds are so much more enjoyable to like race. The longer you get, the less it is about the running, and the more it is about everything else.
Yeah, which I can see where there's some intrigue, at least from
Yeah.
like a viewership fan point, is like the survival part of the 200s.
So much survival.
But yeah, so it would be really interesting to, so this is Conversational Pace. We talk about gear and shoes. And Jimmy, I'm so sorry I couldn't get out there so we could record this from the sauna, because I know that's on the podcasting bucket list at some point. We'll have to
Great.
save it for the next one. But if there's anyone out there who obsesses over gear and footwear more than me, it's this man Jimmy right here. He is the one who introduces me to brands that I have never heard of.
Sometimes.
So I
Usually you've
am
already heard of
really,
it, but sometimes I'll sneak one in that you have no idea what it
yeah.
is.
Or there's the occasional one where it's like, you're the first person I've ever talked to that's also heard of this brand.
So good.
But that's why I'm really excited to chat, gear choices, like nutrition, shoes for Mammoth, because there's a ton of planning that goes into 100. I can only imagine there's at least twice as much planning that goes into a 200. Where should we take? Should we just go kind of like chronologically
Yeah, we can
from
start
start
there.
start to finish? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Or do
I
you
know
want
you
to do
got.
like product? Do you want to do like shoes, apparel, like nutrition, accessories, or something? I'm trying to think the best way.
So I guess the question was like, was there much gear that you started with that you also finished with, or did you swap out a lot of different things?
With how often I saw my crew, there's a good amount of stuff that I also swapped out just because I didn't want to carry it. So like night stuff, for example, like my night kit looks very different than my day kit because it got very cold up there, in the Glass Mountains. It's down into the probably down into the 30s. So you stop for a minute and you're getting cold. And then the second night, we didn't get hit. The leaders didn't get hit with the storms, but they were like holding people up there from like lightning and hail. It ended up snowing. It ended up snowing on day 4 of the race. Like
Yeah, they
that
had to
down
reroute
low.
that final climb, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
wild.
it kind of depends. Yeah, it goes both ways. Some stuff I carried the whole time. Some stuff I swapped out. But happy to go. Yeah, whichever
Yeah.
direction you want to
So
take
the
it.
race started at 8 a.m.
Hmm.
Friday, right? Okay, so maybe we'll just take me through, what you started with and maybe took through that first day.
Yeah.
Um, you go like
Yeah, I
like
can start with
apparel,
shoe.
pack, yeah,
Yeah,
shoes.
shoe the first day. Very first shoe was no surprise here, probably for a lot of people who actually tune in to your pod, the Prodigio Pro. I knew this is a shoe I just want to start with and maybe do the first 50 to 70-ish miles in, because it's fast and it's what I did Cascade Crest in and set the CR there, and have been doing a lot of training in it. It's just so comfortable. though the one reason why I wouldn't want to use it more than say like a third of the Mammoth is because your feet swell over time, and sure I could have sized up, but I don't like having a ton of extra room in the toe. So when you size up, even if your feet swell, you're gonna have too much room up here. But the toe box is pretty pretty good for La Sportiva, but not compared to what I'm used to with Ultras or some other brands. So, it worked for 100, but that was kind of max on this. And I really like having some space for my big toe to move and get some power out of it. And as the race goes on, the more you kind of notice the lack of space in a shoe. So sure, it's like probably the highest performance shoe I used, next to the O5, but just wanted to get out of the blocks with the fast.
Wanted to feel fast, yeah.
Want to feel fast, and yeah, I did do like 3 or 4 shoe sock changes. So I'll talk about some of the next shoes in a bit. But still treated me well. No complaints. I wouldn't change it for a thing. If I was like developing the shoe personally, and I know you can't make one shoe to please everyone, but I would have just a touch more room in that toe box in the Prodigio. But put a lot of miles in these guys. I'm still probably going to put like quite a few more in them even after Mammoth. And also the nice thing is there's a lot of sandy spots on the course too. So having just I did use gaiters for most of the race, but knowing like it's pretty bomb proof to not let in any kind of rocks and stuff in the shoe. So started with that for shoes.
And you took that to about, what would you say, 70?
I think it was mile 70, and then I did it. Yeah, I ran into the night after that, so I did a shoe change there. And then another thing, let's see, during the day, obviously, I've been really digging North Face, like tops and bottoms, so just like the basic kind of like Summit shorts and t-shirt I used for quite a bit of the race. But I also really liked the one of my favorite pieces I use all the time in training and racing is I think it's one of the Summit series, just like sun hoodies from North Face. And one of my favorite things, even if it's warm out, but about sun hoodies, is that when you have your pack on and you're wearing a t-shirt, a lot of times the pack will rub on the side of your neck a little bit and like chafe. Even if it doesn't like chafe or create anything like too bad, it's annoying to me a little bit. So when you have a sun hoodie on, this like extra material here really protects you from the pack when it moves around and shifts and gets wet and dries and crusty with your salt. So overall, just love the protection of a sun hoodie, having the hood, the long sleeves, the thumb holes to protect the top of your hands if you want. So I spent so many miles in these, and I did multiple North Face sun hoodie top changes as the race went on. So as I went into the night, I would take this off and change into something else too.
Yeah, that's kind of become almost like your look for these hundreds. It's
I don't know if I like that.
Long sleeve.
Guessing. I don't want to have a look. I don't know.
Well, it was nice. We were able to ID you on the live stream pretty easy, because a lot of times it'd be like super zoomed out drone shot, and as I got closer, I was like, oh, that's definitely Jimmy, because he's got his hood up right now, and it's middle of the day.
I love it. I mean, it wasn't too hot. It was in maybe 70-ish, but there were a couple times I did use ice bandana. Crap, I actually don't have the ice bandana here. It's actually being washed right now. But I have been using the East Peak ice bandanas, and I'm sure a lot of people listening already know what that is. But that bandana is amazing, and I did have that with me during the days too, and early on in the race when it was hot. So
that was what I used at Pine to Palm a couple weeks ago, and that was my first time ever putting it on and fully loaded up. I was like, oh, this is a game changer.
Yeah, I bought my first one. I'm like, am I really spending this much money on an ice band?
It was like $40. I was like, actually worth it.
I'm like, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. I did so much training in it from the house. I would just literally leave from the house with it packed in ice just to really break it in. It was great. Next thing to talk about, I think Finn's brought these on before, but Sweet Protection sunglasses.
Also a Sweet Protection fan.
Hell yeah. And then I have these that I started with, and also the clear ones. And this is all swappable too. You can change out the frames. But I use these at night just for some extra protection from maybe dust, debris, wind. I wear contacts, and one of my biggest fears is that the contacts would dry out, and or my eyes would get irritated, and then I'd kind of be like screwed out there. It's kind of hard to change contacts mid-race, even though I did once. But having that, especially like at night on the second Mammoth summit, those clear glasses were awesome because it's just the cold, dry air really takes a toll on your eyes after that much time. And then these guys, these are kind of have been my go-to. Sweet protection, you know, they focus on more like cycling glasses, but they're, you know, cyclists know what's up with gear.
Sure.
And these things I'm sold on, and I probably won't use anything else for quite some time. But luckily I have a connection with them. It's pretty nice.
Nice. I think my marathon PR is in some big sweet protections, except it was at CIM and they actually sat on my forehead for like 23 of the miles because it was foggy.
Oh yeah,
the entire time.
You know what? They might be sitting on your forehead, or if you have a hat on, I'll just like keep them up on top of the hat, and I'll forget that they're there. And then when the sun's popping, it's super hot, and the sun's out and it's sharp, and just like throw them on, and it like saves your eyes, you know, when you're spending that much time.
That Mammoth course looked pretty exposed too. Like there were some sections where we were watching like you, and then the drone would like pan over to like Rachel and Tara like early on in the first day, and Max, and like you guys were all just like snaking through like the single track.
One of the coolest things about that Mammoth course is that you can, like, there's sections, like many sections, where you get up kind of high and you can see almost like the entire course from where you are. You can be like, all right, I just came from there, and you're like wrapping around. You can like, it's so open and wild out there that that was one of my favorite things. Like even in you know, at the very beginning, obviously on top of Mammoth Mountain, but then again like later on deeper into the race, Crater Mountain near Mono Lake, you can see so much.
Did that element or the distance ever like get in your head at all? Like was there ever
Like
any
you can
moments
see
of
so
like,
far ahead?
yeah, like were there ever any oh shit moments of like, I started a 200 mile?
Yeah, I think later into the race, yeah, especially when you start going in on these dirt roads and it's in the middle of the day and it's hot and you're going the opposite direction of where you know you need to go, or like where the finish line is, and you're, you know, it's mile 150 or something, you're like, where the heck am I? Where are you taking me, Tim? And then when it got really challenging, you're just like, oh man, okay, I'm really dreading this section now. And there's an equal amount of just super inspiring, like fun sections of the course as there is like, you know, just dirt road, like nose to the grindstone, like get it done, douche grade, and a lot of it's still very beautiful and like some of the best views you could ever dream of. But like, you know, you start getting some sandy sections or just the monotony of a dirt, you know, double track dirt road, just to get to the next, like, you know, using it to get to the next like nice inspiring spot.
Yeah.
Next thing I use, and I love this because you'll get the full effect of what I did to them. But RAB Gaiters, you can maybe see the little
Yo, what's going on here?
shredded.
You're just shredded.
So this is what goes underneath the shoe to keep the sides down. And there's a little button snap. There's Velcro here. So they just fit like, you know, and then the clip at the top. So they fit over your shoes, and they're nice because maybe sometimes I wanted to keep these on, do a quick shoe change without having to redo the whole gaiter. So I was able to do that a few times. But I might be sending these back to RAB. I mean, they worked amazing in the race, obviously until maybe the very, very end here. And it's not like they're even that rocky, but I was shocked that they didn't have a more durable bungee. This is
I guess
on my thread, literally.
I guess shoes used to have an arch where like that could hook under, and then there'd be like that bungee wouldn't touch the ground. But it's like, how many running shoes exist now that aren't like full contact? Yeah. It's like almost inevitable.
Anyone doing the race or runs out there, like, you have to have gaiters.
It's a gaiter mandatory course.
Gaiter mandatory really should be on the mandatory list. Maybe it is, and I forgot. But it's so beneficial with just like, I mean, there's just so much sand, especially Crater Mountain area, but we had some good precipitation leading up, like literally the day before the race. So conditions were as good as I can ever imagine it being for the leaders, right? For the first like 2.5 to 3 days, it was absolutely fantastic. Good temps, good like trail conditions. But even with that being said, like still needed gaiters.
Yeah. What about storage?
Yeah, storage. So we got, no surprise probably to hardcore followers, but Salomon, I think it was the 10 liter, has not been washed yet. 10-liter vest. I use the long straws a lot up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it has the zips on both sides. So it would keep, snacks in one and maybe some electronic stuff in the other. And then I would keep rain layer or wind layer back here. And then kind of mandatory gear that I never had to pull out and show, but you have your Ziploc bag of your, maybe a buff and some medications or some like bivy and that kind of stuff, phone, extra phone. So I would keep that back here. So tons of room. I love the extra room. I love how it carries just as well as the smaller pack, as like the Salomon, like, what is it, like the 6 or something or,
Yeah.
or 5, but having that zip back here is really, really nice. And then, man, I love this thing. Finn actually connected me with Ultraspire, and I didn't have enough time to use their vest to be confident that it was better than the Salomon vest. I did a few runs, and I'm like, I'm still going to use my Salomon. But I did completely fall in love with one of their waist belts. And I believe I told you about this and how much I love it.
Yeah.
But this is the mountain belt, and it might be kind of hard to find right now. After you throw this on, people want to go like research it. They're still like making some adjustments for an updated version, and I'll show you what I think they're going to be changing. But I was still plenty confident to use this in the race, and I use it almost every day at home in my training. But I made a pretty bold claim to you saying that I thought it was better than the Raid belt. So can't wait to hear what some of maybe your subscribers say. But I've used both. I used the Raid belt too, and I thought it was great. But there's some reasons why I think this Ultraspire belt is a little bit better. And first, it's like not quite as stiff. It's a little softer. But you can see it uses the same kind of like ultra stretch material, but it's a touch softer. What I really like on this one though is there's this zip pouch here on the front that's quite large. I can fit my hand in it. And what I would put is like one of the precision 120 gram flow flasks in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I put a flow flask in here, and then there's a little kangaroo pouch on the side. One of the things that I believe they're changing on the next one on their update is to like keep a way to have this closed right here, either a magnet or a snap or something, because you got to be careful. I actually had my phone in here and it did fall out at one point, and someone like Rachel picked it up, I think like 2 miles later. No. Just slowly flowing out. But usually I'll put in
really?
Yeah, usually I'll put in like a wind layer or my gloves right in here. I mean, you can see how much room that is, and that's in the front. And then right behind, there's another like mesh, super breathable pouch here that I would maybe put some trash in or some other soft materials. And at night, like when it was colder, I would put like backup gloves there, like alpha gloves or something like that, alpha mitts. It would actually like keep my like abdomen warmer, and I think that in turn helped keep my hands warmer. Because if your core's warm, your hands stay warm. So this sat like right over my like lower core area, and I think having this belt really did help my hands. And I have like the biggest like baby hands out there. I get like Raynaud's and stuff, and I didn't have any big issues. And then I had Anna stitch this little mushroom patch on the back. But the back has a huge pouch. I can throw in a 800 milliliter bottle back here, and I'll keep water exclusively back here. Yeah, no bounce either. No bounce.
Yeah, wow.
Usually
That's huge capacity.
It's huge capacity. Usually I'll do 650. But you can see this is like, and it's stretchy, and and then also there's like pole loops. I ended up not using poles back here because I like having the quiver. Just want too much stuff going on in the belt. But the way they do it is because on the side they have these tension straps here. You can see, and that really snugs it down and keeps it nice and taut. And then they also, this is part of the defect with the belt though as well. There's a little nutrition pouch on each side. You can fit in, 400, or you could probably fit in like 4 precision 30 grams in each one, no problem. Or you can even throw in a super lightweight like wind layer. But the problem is that the strap is over the opening. So if you cinch it down super tight, it's hard to get anything out of it. So what
You
they're
have to
going
like
to do,
loosen the whole belt.
yeah. So I'm actually testing out one of their lighter weight ones, and they created the system just inside the pocket, right? So then you can still pull out on the outside of the pocket, even when it's cinched down super tight. And in the front here, some people might be wondering, this is just for a external like a waist light. I used a full, I'll show you in a minute, but I just used a different system, like a full waist belt. But you can like clip on a light here that that just fits nicely on the front. So,
Dang.
and then a little bungee, throw something else in there.
Dude, that thing's awesome. Yeah, and I forgot if it was going to be available this fall or next spring, but I'll link to it because I think they had like a preview for it on the Ultraspire website. But the other cool thing about that, like now you're like you don't have to put as much stuff in your pack. Like there's not as much weight on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Some people are like, it's like one more thing to bring. Like I can fit everything in my pack. Why would I have a belt? Or, some people do get some like discomfort with belts. But I like thinking that it is important to try to distribute the weight a bit more. And if you have so much up here, it's going to create tension in your shoulders and your back. And like if you just spread out a couple pounds on your waist, I think that can make a really big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you've been a proponent for the waist belt, as long as I remember. I mean, I mean, they don't call you like Jimmy Fanny Pack Elam for nothing.
Is that what they call me? Oh, wow.
They do now, yeah.
Since we were talking about waist belts, I'll just go straight to the light if that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much rounded out like probably most of the day, like the first day.
Yeah.
Gear, huh?
Oops, it's upside. No, it's not upside down. But yeah, this is one of their Lumen belts. Maybe it's like the Lumen 800, I think. This thing is unbelievable, man. So I've used Kogalla before, and Kogalla is fine. I think some of their batteries caught on fire or something like that, and like kind of like scared me a little bit. And then I got in touch with Ultraspire, and they sent me some stuff. But this right here, like, the light itself is really easy to adjust, like high or low. Because when you're climbing, like, you can have it a bit higher. When you're descending, you can have it a little bit lower. But there's a clip on the side here just to unlatch it and relatch it. That's super easy to adjust. It's nice to have the tension adjusted before you start. But this fit really nicely, like right below my mountain belt. And it seemed kind of like a lot at first, but it never bothered me. So I'd wear both at the same time. And if it does bug you, you can have a system where you just take this off and you can attach it to the front of the belt. But I wanted to be able to like take this on and off when I did transitions without having to like fiddle with my mountain belt. And then there's the battery pack on the back. And one of the nice things is you don't have to take the battery out to charge it. You just twist this back piece, and then there's a USB-C input there. So you can also take the battery out and switch it completely from the other side. But dude, I used a single battery for each night. I mean, we're talking about like nine hours of darkness, and never felt like I was needing more light, brighter light. How the light is like distributed is so nice. And for those that don't really understand waist belts or why you want to use them or why they're better than a headlamp, waist lights are better than a headlamp because of just like the way that the light's distributed. And when it's lower on your body, it's distributed more outwards and forward instead of from high to low, from like top to bottom. So what that does is change how shadows are casted on rocks and roots and whatever technical terrain you're running over. So think of like the sun in the sky. When the sun is high facing down, the shadows are smaller. When the sun's low and it's pushing those shadows forward, so you can more easily see the disturbances in the trail. And I have so much more confidence running with a waist belt in the light than a headlamp. I didn't even use a headlamp a single minute in the race.
Wow, sure, so you just like, full waist light. Full
waist light. Sure, you like turn your head, you can't like light's not going where your head's going. But if you have a proper waist light like the Lumen, it's distributing so much light out there that you don't need that. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's such a win for me.
Dude, I'm about to buy like the entire Jimmy kit like right now. Like This infomercial that we're getting
Oh
is
my
freaking
God.
amazing.
That's hilarious. I should be a sales rep one day. I don't know.
Gosh, yeah. Have you ever thought about maybe getting into the running industry?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Okay, what other gear? Yeah, we just do a quick watch one. Really been digging the Garmin Fenix 8. It's just I love the mapping software. I had it on the map the entire time. Sure, I got lost a couple times. It wasn't the watch's
Mm.
fault. I can promise you that. One thing, the downside of the Fenix 8 AMOLED is that battery life could just be a little bit better. I did have to, like, when I got to aid stations a few times, I would have to like recharge it, right? And it's like, hey, I have 15 minutes here, throw
Hmm.
it on the battery pack. Or I also carried a battery pack with myself, and I put on its own little puck. It's a battery charging puck that plugs into
Oh,
my night core. So I was able to like top off my watch and my phone or my head. I didn't use headphones much, but that was my plan with headphones as well. But so I actually like literally popped it on here for a few miles and would just kind of run with it in my hand for a little bit and then be like, oh, cool, it's like 10% more battery life. Take it off, put it back on, throw this in my pack, and a 10K battery is actually required to bring with you.
oh,
So
really?
this is a necessary piece of gear.
Okay.
Some people might be thinking like, oh, why are you like gonna haul that around? Really, is that necessary? It's like actually, yeah, required.
I think
So
that's fair to have.
I think
I
it
think the
is.
battery bank, that's like a new age requirement because like that actually is very useful.
Yeah, I mean, you're out there for so long, like you're bound. You're like something's bound to die. Like.
Hmm. Do you
Um,
know what was the longest time you went between aid stations?
That's a great question, and I'm gonna have to guess. It's gonna be like 15 miles or so, and with
Okay.
like maybe a water drop. But I want to say there's even like a 14 mile-ish stretch with like no water, and over 3 hours for me. So for many other people, 4,
Hmm.
5, 6 hours. So you had to be super self-reliant. I actually think that's one of the cool things about these 200s, and I don't think they should add any extra aid stations either. But one of the cool things is like you really have to do a good job of taking care of yourself. And like when you get to the aid station, being intentional to prepare for being out there alone a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
moving into the night.
yeah,
It,
let's do it. So
yeah.
night, one thing, actually, I had two full on night gear changes where it would be like, I think it was mile 70 Green Church, and maybe it was like 8 o'clock or so. My crew had the truck ready with my full change of clothes, and I'll start with this actually. And they're like a little hospital sponge wipe, like little square, and it's
Okay.
it's it's called an Easy Cleans bath. So no rinse, self-sudsing, disposable washcloth. So they would get it wet for me, and I would head to toe wipe myself down and then dry myself off. And I just wanted to go into the night feeling fresh. And like, yes, this
Yeah.
sounds kind of crazy. Like you're really spending the time doing this. Like rushing through aid stations wasn't a priority of mine in this race. I wanted to do it well and
Hmm.
right and like take care of myself fully. So I was like, hey, this is a non-negotiable. I'm doing a full clothes, top to bottom
Full
change,
sponge bath.
full sponge bath in the back of my truck. And then one of the things I would put on that I'm so happy I did, just going into the night because you're in the mountains, it's cold. North Face Summit tights and a little bit of storage on the side. Really comfortable waistband on these, and you could throw some stuff in there as well. I don't really use storage on shorts and tights too much. Maybe I'll change one day and start to do that, but I already have a belt. I already have like packed everything I need. I'm like dialed with that system. But having tights on, and even if I started and I didn't really need them, or you think like, oh, I run warm, having tights is it was nice. And I'm not usually a
Hmm.
tights fan, but just having a little extra protection into the night was something that I would absolutely do again.
Yeah.
When it got really cold, like Mammoth Mountain Summit, I had this Senchi layer. I've been using Senchis for years now. Probably
Are
like
those the fuzzy ones?
yeah, it's alpha. So the material is alpha direct, and it's one of the most fantastic materials in existence, seriously, for any like aerobic activity. And why that is because on its own, it's not the warmest thing because you can actually see through it, right? You're like, oh, it doesn't look that
Yeah.
warm. But what it does is it breathes super fast, and and it doesn't hold moisture. So it's I think hydrophobic is the word, right? So it actually pushes moisture, it pulls moisture and pushes it away from the material. So if you're sweating underneath, maybe it'll like actually get onto the alpha, and then it'll push it forward, and then it'll dry super fast. But the trick with these is when on its own it's just like a little bit warmer, than a long sleeve tee. But the trick is when you pair it with a wind layer or rain layer, you're good down to like sub freezing temps, and it creates this insulation mid layer that is really unlike anything I've ever used. So warmth for weight is striking with these. I mean, this is a little bit heftier one. It looks kind of big. When it packs down, reasonably small. But I would do, for most people, you go down in weight on this one and do the 60 instead of the 90. I just brought a 90 because I was like, if it's cold, it's cold. I'm putting on something a little extra warm. But it weighs like this small size weighs probably about 4 ounces. So it's super light, packable. It's also just really soft and comfortable in the skin. So it's something that like you can keep in your pack, not even use it, and not be like regretting that you brought it because it's not going to weigh you down. But it does take up a little bit of space here. But Alpha Direct material, even for like using for mitts or a legging or something like that, or a beanie, is amazing. And I think some people are surprised, like, oh, it doesn't even cut the wind. Like, what's the reason? But it's part of a system, right? It's part of a layering system that can really help you stay dry and warm and comfortable through the night.
Dude, I feel like I'm about to be so much more prepared for my next like overnight expedition from what I'm learning right now.
That's awesome. So then my top wind layer. This is actually the first time I use this. I'm totally against like using gear for the first time in races, but I did a lot of research, and I just couldn't find a great rain jacket. Like I've used some of the North Face ones, and don't get me, there's some North Face stuff I absolutely love, but I think their rain jackets are trash. They just don't. They wet out so fast. I think they're really bad.
Interesting.
So this is Innovate. Innovate's layer, and I don't remember the name or the model of it, but fully seam taped. It's like 20K waterproofing and breathability rating. And it has a little cinch in the back too, for the hood, just to tighten it up, because I can't stand it. A hood's not easily adjustable and just blows off your head. So another thing too, what I cannot stand with some rain layers is when they're loud. They're like the swooshiness. You can hear it a little. You can hear it a little bit, but when you're out there and you're running, it's like next to silent. Like it's really not bad at all. So it has a soft touch to it, and it's a great layer.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense that Innovate would have a pretty good rain jacket.
You got to think, aren't they UK, right?
I think they're a UK brand, so it's like
that's one of the special things about these UK brands, like them and Montaigne and RAB. Like you can't get away with making shit product. They have some of the worst, coldest weather in the world. They have the freaking spine race, right? Like you can't half-ass gear there. Whereas here in the US, I think a lot of companies can half-ass gear that just maybe looks good and isn't actually that functional, because like most people buying this gear probably don't really need it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. So the jacket ended up working well?
Well, it didn't rain.
Oh, that's right.
But
you didn't have to test that.
I used it a couple times. Yeah, I used it on the summits, I think both times, and especially the second night going on the summit. It was very cold. It was a little breezy, maybe in the 20s at the summit. I'd be interested to go back and look, but it was easy to take out of my pack and put on and zip up. One thing I would probably suggest, though, for people is to oversize. It's hard for me to oversize because it's like, I want to wear it all the time, and like at home and stuff. And if it's too big, I'm not going to want to wear it. But the reason being is like, I got a small. I should have got a medium because I couldn't put it on like over my pack that easily. It would fit, but it was really hard to zip up. So if you really want to be dialed, oversize your jacket so you can take it out and like easily throw it on and zip it up over your gear.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the pack over jacket look, even if it makes you look a little strange in the race pictures. I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Next piece here is these are Summit Series rain pants by North Face. And I haven't fully tested them getting like soaked down because I think it's the same material as their jackets, and I was just dogging their jackets. So we'll see. But like mainly it's for like just protection from the cold and wind. One of my favorite things about these, they have these elastic pieces on the side, 2 separate ones here. Look how roomy this is. You can fit it over your shoes easily.
Oh, like no problem, huh?
No problem. This is literally oh, here we go. Yeah. That's a better view. So you can fit it over your shoes, on, off. Like, that's so clutch, not having to take your shoes off. You know how annoying that is? Because the thing is, how often do you actually need to wear pants if it's not just like brutally cold? But there's plenty of times where it's like just cold enough where you'd save energy if you could have like a pant layer on. And having a pant layer where you can just slide on over your shoes is awesome. Yeah, and I did use it too a couple times, and I'm really happy I had these. So I'm not sure how you can get these. Anna hooked these up, and I don't know if they exist in the real world. Might just be in Anna's world and my world, but they're just a Summit Series North Face wind pan, and good luck finding them.
I'll do some hunting around, but yeah, if not, then I won't link that one in the show notes.
And then back to, I don't want to forget the shoes. So back to the shoes, when I went into the night, I did switch into the Wild, the Ultra Wild. And these are just great cruiser shoes. There's nothing fancy about them. They're pretty basic foam, basic materials. Nothing too wild about them.
Nothing wild about the Wild.
But the step-in is great, and the ride is comfy. It's just it's kind of a low-quality foam. I think like just kind of EVA foam, but it's comfortable, and it's good when you're just out there slogging some miles in the middle of the night, and you want to have some of that extra toe space. So I think Ultra like really nailed it with just the overall comfort of this shoe. But after about 50, 60 miles, it just feels like the foam kind of flattens out a little bit, and you need to change into something else. But for the purpose they served, they did a great job. Love the shoe. It's pretty lightweight. I wouldn't call it a performance shoe, but it's kind of like a long haul trucker that's really comfortable for a mid race shoe change.
Now, did you switch into that shoe because of like what you were going to experience on the course, or like mostly just for that wider toe box?
It was more like my plan with switching shoes was over for comfort and like packing out foam. I mean, after 8-10 hours of any shoe, you're going to be, it's not going to perform the same as it did before. And then also just remember me talking about the La Sportiva and how it had the tight toe box. I don't want that for too long. I don't want that like, going into the night for 6 hours. I want to be in something super comfortable and lets my toes kind of like have some space and have some room. I think zero drop, take it or leave it. This is a 4 mil, like zero drops, like whatever, but foot shape, having some room in the toe, that's like a non-negotiable for long ultras. I mean, it's just like you're really screwing up your feet if they can't like move around a little bit. You don't want to be swimming in them. Like I couldn't do the Olympus 275 or like Lone Peak because like just way too much space for me. But when you find something that's like just enough room for you, like you'll see. I'm gonna turn this a little bit. You'll see that like your feet just feel better over time.
Right.
Okay, next thing into the night was that these are really cool. I'm excited to show these to you. So Anna found these on the North Face website. These are Summit Series Overmitts, and you can slide your hand in here and then cinch that down. So you might be like, oh, that's kind of funky. Like, why do you want this here? Well, so they're waterproof first and lightly insulated. Maybe they have like 40 grams of insulation. But you can have your Lecky pole harness on and easily use these with the harness as you're hiking uphill. And also just to like quickly get some nutrition or like change your shoes or whatever, you just flip it off and you can use your hands, it stays on.
Dude, so, those are actually next level.
I think Anna was telling me they're made for like ice climbing maybe. But yeah, they are super warm. Sorry for the sunlight. It's like the sun's setting here. So there we go.
Dude, I was like, it's hitting you hard right now.
But they're really soft cushion. Like, let me show you. They pack down crazy small. I mean, this is like, look at that.
Dude, those are sweet. I've never seen a glove like that before.
And then I'll just stuff it in the other one. So here's like 2 gloves right here. And I'll
That's
throw
sick.
it in my kangaroo pouch in my mountain vest. And it worked wonderfully.
And it's got the lecky hole.
Got the leggy hole. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's one of the most frustrating things. If you have like Raynaud's or just like wussy fingers like me, taking a mitt, because mitts are the only thing that really work. Like regular gloves don't work for me that well. These are a total game changer. Yeah, these were great.
That's awesome. That's such a good find.
Yeah.
That's a Jimmy piece of gear right there.
You're waiting for it.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the last shoe, and then if you want to do nutrition, we can talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
So I've used the 005s twice in the race, and finished with them as well. And I think this has got to be one of the most comfortable shoes that I've ever used, hands down. I really needed to make sure that the gaiter was locked in because the downside for me is just a little roomy here for my ankle and my heel, for my skinny heels. But I didn't have any issues. You know, some people talk about issues with it feeling like they're going to come out, or it's just like just way too much room. It wasn't a problem for me. I didn't notice it at all. But I did notice that, like, yeah, if I didn't have the gaiter, I'm sure I would have got some like pebbles and rocks and sand in. I would have been paying dearly for that. But just the softness of the ride, after spending so many hours on my feet, you know, being able to change into these was a real treat. And then also Norda does a great job with having just enough room in that toe box so you're not swimming around like crazy, but you have enough room to really access the strength in your big toe, to be able to have, you know, like good feeling feet by the end. And I tell you, I had like a couple small blisters. I didn't have any blister that needed to be popped. My feet were amazing. And I had a little bit of plantar fasciitis that creeped in with like 35 miles to go. But it didn't get over a like 3 out of 10. It was there just saying, hey, like you've been running a long time. What the hell are you doing?
That's fair.
I don't think that was any specific shoe, the reason why that happened, but just so much time on my feet. But man, the Dyneema upper, it's not like so much Dyneema that it's not breathable. You know, I know some earlier models like maybe aren't quite as breathable. Plenty breathable. Never had a problem with like way too much sweat building up. But just the ride, the quality of the foam, is fantastic. One thing I would want to see in an update on these is really just a little bit more lug, a little bit deeper. And I think you guys talked about this, or maybe Believe in the Run. They're good for like 95% of terrain out there that you're seeing, but there's 5% or so where you're like, I could use a little bit more. I could use a few more millimeters of like just like teeth, you know, biting down on some loose stuff. But yeah, I think you can probably relate.
For sure. Yeah, that's pretty much like exactly my thoughts too, where it was like this outsole is perfectly fine for most things. Yeah. But every once in a while it's like, I wish I had a little bit more bite there.
But love these. I'm really excited. I think maybe some updates are in the work. I don't know, but I bet these are just going to keep getting better. So it's pretty wild what they were able to accomplish in their first version of this. So
yeah,
cool.
I know it is. That's true. Like you have to keep in mind that that's like the first version of the 005.
Yeah. Do you want to talk any nutrition or that kind of stuff, or?
Yeah, I'd be curious. Like,
so
we don't have to do a minute by minute, but like some of the core items.
Some fun highlights here. I'll start with something fun on the side is just Neurogum.
Neurogum.
Dude, so it has, I'll take one piece at a time. So it has 40 milligrams of caffeine, 60 milligrams of L-theanine, and some like B vitamins, and it has an amazing taste. Like I might be addicted to these actually. But so when you balance the caffeine with L-theanine, L-theanine is like naturally occurring compound in like green teas and stuff. It's what like relaxes you if you're feeling jittery or anxious. Caffeine and L-theanine actually have a synergistic effect with one another, so they become more powerful than one on their own. And what happens when you have the L-theanine, you stack about usually twice as much as caffeine in milligrams is the best way to go about it. It totally takes away any kind of anxiety and jitters that you might have while giving you more energy and more focus. And it's actually like pretty common in like the gaming industry where you want to have energy, you want to take a shit ton of caffeine, but you also don't want to be like shaking, right?
Right.
So I just noticed having a bit more like mental clarity at night. And I don't take these to get like, super jacked energy. I take them to get like energized focus. So you don't have to have Neurogum, but there's plenty of other ways you can access kind of like that combo.
That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah.
Neurogum was not on my bingo card.
Another fun one that maybe not a lot of people would think of doing. So I have the Skratch Recovery Horchata mix, and then with some creatine here. So the Skratch mix, there's a little bit of protein, so 8 grams. But I think for such long races, you need to find some ways to get in a little bit of protein. And this stuff tastes so good, I just mix it with some water. And I had it at least, I want to say, 5 or 6 times through the race. And it's so nice on the stomach for whatever reason. It is like milk based, but if you're intolerant to milk, you still might be able to have it because I think there's like something that they do to the lactase in it. But added lactase to help with digestion and also probiotics.
Okay.
So it tastes great. It's a nice way to mix up from the like overly sweet, energy drinks or nutrition drinks out there. And then the creatine, some people, you got to be careful with this because if you overdo it, you can have some upsets tummy. But the creatine, there's been a lot more research lately showing the like cognitive benefits of 10 to 15 grams of creatine. And so it'd be like kind of 2 to 3 scoops of a normal serving. And mixing it together, you don't taste it, but lots of cognitive benefits. And like, there's some theories that it can keep you more alert through the night. And that was one of my biggest struggles that I knew would happen would be just like, I just get sleepy. I just get tired, running out there that long. But it's something I would absolutely do again. And I just have this combo every single day. I had it every single day for like months leading up to the race as well. Just like creatine loading, having this as like a carb drink immediately after every single run. Putting in, the trick is to put in a shaker bottle. So definitely want in a shaker bottle so it doesn't clump up. But 200 calories for 2 scoops. I would actually this is one of the few things I would like look forward to on the course.
That is nice to have something like that.
Yeah.
The creatine load, that's an interesting one. Do you feel like it helped cognitively?
I think it did. So here's the thing with getting tired. When I would hike, when I would walk with poles, I got sleepy no matter what.
Oh, really?
I would be so sleepy. And as soon as I start running, I would be fine, right? But I would get like, oh my God, like I'm getting like a little dizzy, a little just like, I was like, do I need to eat something? I would eat some sugar and maybe it would help for 5 minutes or so. But I would just get really sleepy, and maybe I didn't have my nutrition perfectly dialed, and I could have been having a little bit more carbs at night or a bit more caffeine too at night. Still not quite sure, but it was definitely more related to how my body burns fuel hiking versus how it burns fuel running, and I think those are 2 different methods. I want don't quote me on this, even though I'm going to be quoted. But I think when you're running, your body and especially that late, your body's wanting to burn more fat when you're running. But when you're walking, maybe it's looking to burn more carbs. That would make sense to me, but I'm not completely sure. I'll show you. Got the big boy.
The big boy, the flow gel.
Flow gel in. These are the flasks that I would put in my mountain belt. Okay. 120 grams of carbs in this, and just you could actually fit more. You could probably fit 150 if you wanted, but it's a lot, and it's easy, and it has the little nozzle here that no matter how much you squeeze, it's not coming out. It's even if it's pressed up against the side of your pack or something, it's probably not coming out. You have to suck on it relatively tough compared to just a normal bottle, but it's amazing. It just makes you just have so much less trash when you
Yeah.
can prepare well and have these like little containers. So you're not like, if your hands get cold or it's dark or whatever, you're just like, you're not having to fiddle with stuff. You should literally take it out of your pack, put it on the side of your mouth, drink a little bit, like put it back down, you're good. It's a little harder maybe to keep track of exactly how much nutrition you're having at any given point, but you get to a point where you just stop doing that. You just need to be eating all the time. Anytime you can
Yeah.
possibly be taking something down, you are. Um, and then oh, sorry, do you have any questions about that setup?
No, I mean mostly I love the gel in
Yeah.
flask combo because like, and especially like there's always every once in a while that one gel that doesn't rip open,
Hmm.
right? And then you're just
Yeah.
like, what do I do with this now? Like, do I risk like breaking all my teeth trying to chew through it, or do I put it in my pack and now risk it blowing up in there? Like, this is stupid. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the
Nice.
gels and flasks combo.
Yeah, and then with sodiums, I just use these Precision Thousands, which actually has 500 milligrams. Don't be fooled, like I was for probably a year of how to properly take in their stuff. They base it all off of like a liter per liter of water. So you'd put two of these into a liter, which would be 1,000. So I like mixing this with just their like carbohydrate drink, or even having it on its own. It has a little bit of carbs. It has about 16 or 17 grams of carbs on its own.
Mm,
So if you start getting that kind of like heavy rock stomach where you're just like hard to take in, just like straight carb drinks, have one of these and you'll probably be good. But yeah, really, really like these. Precision does make it easy kind of once you understand how they write their things down. Also, not a ton of taste with a lot of their products. So if you're someone who gets palate fatigue, it's nice to have these in your pack.
right on. Like did it all work pretty well? Like any big
I always get stomach issues, like no matter what I'm eating or how much, sodium ratio I have with carbs. Like it doesn't really matter. I still get stomach issues. And one thing that was interesting to me was like I did start having whole foods early on, so sandwiches like turkey cheese sandwich, and then lots of ramen. Ramen
hmm,
was big for me. So I would have my
yeah.
crew ready with a pot of ramen, and I would just shovel ramen like a madman. So I tried mixing in a lot of whole foods, and I think I could do even better with that. I had some like chocolate milk ready, like good quality chocolate milk ready, and I kept forgetting that it was there.
Yeah.
This is in my cooler, in my truck cooler. But I think like for me, I just get to a point like 8 to 10 hours in, and my stomach is just not going to be happy anymore, and it's just part of it. But overall, like I think what I brought, there's nothing specifically that would be like absolutely not next time, or as far as what extra things I might bring, probably towards the end, I just really wanted like crunchy candy, so like
Hmm.
peanut M&Ms or like pretzel M&Ms kind of stuff. I had a lot of those, and then really moist granola bars. Something that like I wouldn't need. Well, the thing is, if it's too dry, then you're drinking so much water, and you're just like,
Yeah.
before you know it, your bottle's gone. But
Yeah. But there's just something so unappealing about a moist granola bar.
because it's like somewhat savory, like a little savory, a little sweet. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, yeah, hot broth, works really well. That was great. Um, yeah,
Dude. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sounds like you have a little bit more flexibility for something like a 200 mile where
yeah,
like you said you're just not keeping track at a point. You're just like eat when you can, eat what you can.
yeah.
Um what else? So okay, well, here's a question, not gear or nutrition. What was your finishing time? 45,
Yeah,
45 something?
45, like something in the teens, 16 or 15 or something like that, I think.
Did you have any idea? Did you have any goal times for like what you thought you would
I
run?
remember saying that the winner would go 45. Maybe I
Mm,
said 44, but I said 44, 45. And
wow.
where I was massively wrong was how fast the first 100 would go out. I was saying 20 hours was a realistic first 100, and I was under 18.
That's
And
insane. That
and
is so fast.
there was still like 15,000 feet of climbing at altitude. We got up to over 11,000
Yeah.
feet, right, on Mammoth. There was a lot of downhill, don't get me wrong, but there's also still a good amount of climbing. So, I mean, Rachel was, yeah, she was like 18:20 or 18:30. Like she was still only half an hour or something behind. But that was a really fast first 100, and I had no idea we were going to go quite that fast and how it would play out in the second 100. But I think that's how it's going to end up being for people who want to go and win and set records in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because at some point, like that second 100's just not going to fade as much. And then all of a sudden, like someone's breaking 40 hours.
Yeah. Someone could absolutely break 40 on that course. And I think if you took out just the 2 times I got off course and lost and added on, that in itself would have put me at about 44 hours. And I had, I want to say 3.5 to 4 hours of stop time. I took my time at every aid station I could that my crew was there, which was many of them, like 8 to 10. If I had over an hour lead on Rachel, I would like take a nap. I mean, I took 4 by 10-minute naps. Took my first dirt nap. I was
nice.
waiting to see what time she left Lee Vining so I knew if I could nap or not. And it was like an hour and a half. And I'm like, I'm napping. Anna, start the watch. I'm going to take a nap. So I was, yes, racing it and like trying hard, but my priority lied with wanting to do the aid stations right and taking care of myself above all else, instead of like hundreds where you got to burn some matches and you know when you are and you are making moves. And I didn't really make moves besides the like strategy around the time I spent at aid stations to like change my clothes into the night, take my little bubble bath, that kind of stuff. So I went about it in a way that like someone's going to take a lot of time off this. I don't know if it's going to be next year or the year after. We got to get some fast people out there, and a lot went very, very well for me. So maybe it's faster of a time than I think it is, but I won't be surprised at sub 40.
Dude, that's amazing. It's a bummer we're not going to see you in a 200 for at least a few more years, to quote you from earlier on in the episode. But
please don't make that the like highlight, like maybe never doing a 200 again.
I'm sure it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah. It did. It really did. It took a lot out of Anna. Anna paced me for like 60 miles and was crew chief.
That's hard.
Like, dude,
that's hard.
Give her the kudos. You should be interviewing her on like.
Your crew, and she found the mitts with the holes in them.
She found the freaking mitts.
Yeah. Oh man, dude,
so good.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm so glad that we got to sit down and record this episode and go through all the gear.
Yeah, I've been watching Conversational Pace and like what you've created for a while now, and it's kind of weird being on this side of the screen. No, I love it, and I think I love talking about gear, and anytime, man.
Yep. And if people enjoyed this, Jimmy, we could do like an ultra marathon length gear episode.
Go deep.
But that one will have to be in person. I'll come over to your house and I'll bring like a bucket of gear, and you can bring a bucket and we can just chat about it. Make a game
out of it. We each get like a bucket. We get to pick something for the next race, and we have to use it and but blindly pick. I don't know.
I'm down.
We can make some fun.
Let's do it.
All right,
dude. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll leave you with the last word.
Man, shoot, I just hope people watching this can get out to Mammoth and experience it. I think it's a really cool place. Obviously it holds sentimental value to me, but it's a wild, wild place. And no, you don't need to go out and do the Mammoth 200. Like, go spend a weekend in Mammoth and go explore into the backcountry and the Alpine Lakes and see the Sierra Wave for yourself. It's crazy. Yeah, it's so amazing. So that's all I can hope for.